Boom. Okay, we're live. How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Good to see you too, man. I'm doing all right.
Welcome to episode 2, Attack of the Coronavirus. Nah, that's lame. Oh, well, let's just call it episode 2. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, so a lot happened since we spoke last. I think the last time we spoke... Actually, let me do my screen sharing again.
All right.
Okay. Okay, so the last time we spoke, we were looking at 12,300 something cases in Germany.
Yeah.
You can actually use this scale thing here to move it back and forth to see on what date what happened. So currently we're at 32,000 something. So it basically tripled. What again is positive is the amount of people that have actually died from this. That's like basically nothing. I mean, that's really in the... I mean, again, if you have 32,000 cases that have the regular flu, it's probably about the same number, I'd say. I don't think it's much different.
Right.
And then now, of course, we got some people coming back healthy at this point because they have surpassed that 2-week incubation period. So now they're considered to be healthy again. All right. So then, as we both expected, this is the worldwide numbers. They don't have specific number for the United States. But here, this is the numbers worldwide, and the USA wasn't even in it. I remember you had about 8,000 cases last time we spoke, which is about a week ago.
Yeah.
And now we're looking at, now we're actually in the top 3. Now we have 50,000 cases. That's not funny. That's a little funny. So now you have about 50,000 cases, and you have 606 deaths, which is a lot more than, as if you compare it to Germany, even as a percentage. But that being said, yeah, okay. I mean, it's still within reason. I mean, you think we look at Italy's numbers. I mean, that's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
Well, I mean, everybody knew our response, our federal response was extremely delayed. There's been tons of states here that have refused to do the social distancing. Trump basically threw it on governors to buy their own medical supplies. Now they're competing against each other in the open market.
Of course.
And they're competing with the federal government, which can offer more money. So it's been a clusterfuck of a response. And I mean,
that was, you could see it, let's just say it like that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's pretty obvious.
But I mean, it's these numbers, every day, with thousands and thousands and thousands. Really, a lot of it is they're just getting tests now.
Right.
So, and they're still denying tests to people. I have a friend who was denied a test in Wyoming because even though he came back negative for strep and the flu and a few other tests, they didn't have enough to give him because he wasn't sick enough.
Okay. Well, let's wait till he's sick enough.
Yeah, well, what's really fucked is he's diabetic. So sick enough might be dead. Right. So, but that's still, I think that's one of the reasons that we've seen these numbers go up is as states get their resources finally to test, we're starting to get the real numbers,
Yeah. Well, right now, I just saw like a piece on CNN about Louisiana, and yes, the government has, okay, there's a problem here. We believe in the Lord's Prayer and all that shit, but we also believe in science. But there's still mega churches meeting daily, and there's a lot of cases in Louisiana, as far as I know. That's at least what they said. I mean, I don't know what the numbers are. But
some
again,
states,
if they're not testing, these numbers aren't right.
Right. No, I know. Some states like Kentucky closed churches early, and that seemed to really help. I know Kentucky's new governor has really kicked ass on this, been really proactive. So there are some bright spots in responses, but then there's other states that have done essentially nothing. Texas is one that I'm assuming is going to pop off soon because they've done little to nothing to implement any of the recommendations of the CDC. So,
Yeah, but it doesn't surprise me. Again, Americans are generally very resistant to when it comes to any kind of, like I wouldn't say sense, but when it comes to kind of restrictions, the first thing they always do
Yeah,
is fight it. Which,
yeah.
again, of course, it's it's the American spirit, and all that freedom, superficial bullshit that you guys got going on there all the time. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, okay, let them have it. But it's like at some point you have to like let that go and just be, normal in the head.
Well, I mean, it's crazy. You're right, but the thing is like you have people like the lieutenant governor of Texas saying that, basically, oh, if the what did he say about the old people like would want to rather die and save the country? Like, did you hear this? Have you seen
No.
this in the news? Yeah, he basically made a statement to the effect of, to save the economy, a lot of older people would rather just leave all the businesses open to save the economy for their grandkids and just risk their own lives, which is just insane.
Well, that's quite a response from a official.
An elected official. Yeah, it's like, man, wow. Okay, so old people are no longer people, apparently. And we'll just add that to immigrants and, people in prison and women. Let's just, they're shutting down. Texas, once again, Texas, great state of Texas. Um, they consider abortions non crucial
Mm.
procedures. So basically, if you had an abortion scheduled, you're not allowed to go through with it right now. Which, yeah, that's not considered critical care during this
Well,
pandemic.
yeah, I mean, abortions can be critical. I mean, I'm not, again, not a medical expert, but I know that there's cases where the woman is at risk if it's not being done.
Right. Which is that's exactly what I was getting at. They're using, like, a lot of people right now, or a lot of politicians are using this to like push their agenda, including the relief package that's currently in our Congress,
Right. Yeah,
which
yeah, I heard
is
about that. I'm glad it didn't pass, though I think it will eventually because there's gonna be a lot of pressure for it to pass. But it's basically just a bailout again, no?
it's the same thing that happened after the 2008
Right.
crisis. They're just bailing out the industries without any rules on how they have to use the money. There's nothing in there for state or local governments. There's nothing. I mean, for poor people, they get half of what other people get. If you didn't file your taxes in 2018 or 2019, you don't get your check. Um, it's absurd. Like, so few people will actually get checks, and so many companies, and it's apparently it leaves it at the discretion of the Trump administration on where to distribute those funds, and they don't have to report that for 6 months. Why would that be? Maybe an election year.
Maybe, yeah, possibly.
Oh, and by the way, he'll be able to give money to his own company for the loss for their hotels.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Dude,
Well, we
we
actually let me just tell you what we did, what the German government did. So we have a program now. If you have I want to say less than 6 employees, you can request 9,000 euros per month for 3 months, and it's free. You don't have to pay it back. If you have less than, I want to say 15 employees, I'm not sure. You can request that amount, but it goes up to 16,000 euros per month for 3 months, and you don't have to pay it back. So that's the bailout that they put in place here right now.
Right, for small businesses.
Yes, up to,
That's
like I said,
amazing.
6 employees, and then I think it goes up to 10 or 15. I'm not sure. I don't know the exact numbers, but it's really focused on small business. And then corporations, they have some benefits too. Like they're gonna have losses to this time, so they're gonna be able to write those off on their taxes, which is fair.
Right, right.
So can small businesses.
Wow, yeah, that's very, very different. I mean, as far as I know, no people that are self-employed, which obviously includes me,
Right.
um, are eligible for relief.
I'm
Um,
self-employed too in America, actually,
yeah,
still.
yeah. So you wouldn't be getting a check, as I understand it. Now, I'm sure there's been changes now because they're negotiating this as we speak. Um, but the original bill that they were putting forth was absurd. I mean, And then the blaming Democrats for obstructionism. It's like, you're out of your fucking minds. Sorry for cussing, but they are. I mean,
this is completely child-free.
oh yeah. Oh, I figured. But yeah, hey kids, watch this coronavirus episode. Like, you're not getting bombarded enough with it as it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, these things, I mean, it looks like your government actually cares about its people, and ours is like, hey, you're on your own, good luck.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it in the responses. Like here, Merkel said yesterday, I want to believe, she said that it's basically the biggest challenge since World War II, as in overcoming a big, overcoming a big challenge. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, well, Trump wants everything to be back to normal by Easter, so that the economy doesn't get hit. Dude, that guy is in fucking serious denial, man. I mean, that he needs to be removed. He's bad, dude. He's
He's
bad news for you.
insane. He's fucking insane. He lives in his own world. No one ever tells him no. He's not held accountable for anything. He's now saying that he was the first person to see this as a threat. Bullshit, man.
Well, no.
They were told about it in January and did nothing.
Well,
So
he
it's
said
like,
that it was under control. That's what he said on the 27th of January.
right, exactly. But I mean, now he's claiming I'm beyond words at this point with this guy. I just don't understand why they haven't removed him. It's obvious that, I mean, yeah, like putting some kind of deadline on a deadly virus is insane. It's certified. You can't control that. I'm sorry, Trump. You can't fire the virus. I know that's difficult to understand in the scope of The Apprentice with, the television show, but you can't just fire this one. You got to actually deal with it.
Well, what's funny to me is like he calls it the Chinese virus, and now he's saying that we should not hold. He said today, or it was today or yesterday, that we should not hold Asian people responsible for it. At first, he says that it's a Chinese virus, and he's got 100 million followers that all fucking out of their minds.
Yeah.
And of course, they're gonna blame the Chinese people. But now today, he said that the Asian people, it's not Asian people's fault, and we should not leave them alone. He will not stand for this or something.
Yeah, because Asian Americans have been there's been a lot of stories coming out of racial attack, basically like hate crimes against Asian Americans, and it's because of him.
Yeah,
it's because of him. Yep.
Same with Mexicans, I assume. And I'm sure there's a lot of that going on too.
Yeah, I mean, not so much.
The thing is, if your leader is that, that kind of speech is gonna lead to nothing much but trouble. There's nothing good about it.
I mean, look, dude, look at it this way. It's like, it's amazing to me that just two normal, rational people like you and I can sit here and break that down and understand these concepts. And then here you have a third of the American public that can't even grasp that very simple idea that when the president says things like that, it causes people to get hurt. You know what I mean? People to make bad decisions. Like, they don't understand. Like, they're like, oh, he's always being attacked. He's a victim. Media is always attacking him. They're attacking him because he's dangerous.
Right, exactly.
It's like, how do you not see how much harm he's done in the United States and continues to do on a daily basis? I mean, did you hear the report that came out yesterday about the guy that took Trump's advice and bought the medication, took it, and died?
Yeah, I heard about that, yeah.
There you go. That one's on you, Trump.
That's what happens when you listen to a TV show host instead of a physician. Yep.
Yeah. You absolutely killed a man.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. You're responsible for someone that just died. I mean, of course that happened. I'm sure it happened under Obama. It happened under Bush as well.
Sure.
But this is like, it's like obvious. It's right because it's exactly because of this.
Yeah. It happened. I mean, every president gets people killed. No doubt about that.
Well, yeah. If you're the most powerful person in the world, you're gonna get people killed. That is what it is. There's not much you can do.
No, it's kind of like part of the job requirement. Right. Like, you just try to minimize it. You're like, maybe I'll be a good one and only get a couple thousand killed. It's fucked. But I mean, you're right. That comes with the territory. But in this instance, I mean, Trump has just it's just like Hurricane Trump just coming in and just wrecking everything, you know, which is exactly why they elected him, though, by the way. His base, they wanted to destroy the system, and then, well, congratulations, you have.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, now it's really scary because, I mean, you know, you look at New York and they're now they're gonna have to split. Did you hear about this? They're gonna have to split those ventilators into two. So they want to use one ventilator on two beds
Really?
because they don't have enough. Yeah, it's actually quite smart. I don't know if it's gonna work, but I don't see why it wouldn't, because I'm sure that those things, you know, they have more power for austerity than for redundancy. I'm sorry, for redundancy than what you know, what the standards are. So they can probably push more air than, you know, that's more than enough for one person. So I don't see why it wouldn't work.
Right.
So that's what they have to do, because they don't have enough ventilators. They need, I think the number was like 30,000, and they got like 2,000 or something. But I don't know exact numbers, but it's definitely not enough. And
Wow.
FEMA sent
Yeah.
them like 400. Um, well, I assume they just don't have any more, or they need them in other places.
Yeah.
But
Well,
then the governor of New York actually said that they need to nationalize certain industries and require them to build them these ventilators. And they couldn't do that. He actually gave them tips on how to do this. There's like this war something act that you have in America, so that they
it's
would have to follow
Def-
that. It would be a law.
Defense Production Act. Yeah.
Defense Production Act, that's the one.
Yep. Yeah. So during wartime, they can direct certain industries to produce certain goods.
Right.
And he's been resistant for whatever reason to do that, because it's socialist or whatever his, you know, his rhetoric is on that. But
Well, bailing out giant corporations is also socialism. I don't care what you say.
dude, that I've been
It's a different
talking
kind of
on,
socialism.
dude, I've been talking so much on social media with people that are like saying the most ignorant things about this bailout, and like going, well, if you don't like Trump, you shouldn't accept this. And my point is, you guys have been talking about how bad socialism is right now, and now you're just all waiting for your checks, you know. And it's the amount of idiocy, like the level of idiocy is astounding. And
Yeah,
just
socialism is terrible, but now that $1,000 check that you got coming looks pretty good, doesn't it?
looks
You
pretty
know?
exactly like you don't want handouts, you don't want poor people to have handouts. Are you going to pay this back after you get your jobs back? That's what I would ask any of these conservative people. Are you going to pay it back? Probably not. Then congratulations, that's a welfare state, you
Yep.
know. But yeah, there's so much crap going on. I can't even do social media right now, because it's just the people.
Really? That stops you? Okay.
Dude, I'm so exhausted. It's an election year, which is already bad enough. There's a lot of trolls that aren't even, like, half of them probably aren't even Americans, because I
Like me.
swear, because their arguments don't make any sense, and the grammar is wrong. Like,
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're not American.
good point. But I'm telling you,
I
like,
used to live in, I remember I used to live in West Virginia. I used to work in mining, right?
yeah,
And there was a shift supervisor who was running some kind of, I don't know, like a dozer or something.
yeah.
And at the beginning of every shift, we had to fill out this pre-shift form to make sure that the equipment is checked. Check the horn, check the safety equipment, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And every day he would give me his pre-shift form, and he would, it would say on top, it would say shift, and he would put like, night shift, day shift, or first shift, second shift, and he would put tooth on there. Like two with a th behind it. That was his. He was the fucking supervisor, dude.
Holy shit. Yeah, okay. Valid point. All right.
But
But I mean,
the your and you are kind of thing. I mean, don't tell. Like, I would say half of Americans can't master that. I'm sorry, they
I
really
know,
can't.
I know. No, I know. They're not good with contractions. Apparently, contractions are out of the realm of most people's scope of language, you know?
But they know everything about politics, man. I can tell you that
Oh
much.
yeah. Oh, they're experts on the Constitution
They
for
are.
some reason.
Hmm.
They know everything, and they know for certain that none of our founding fathers were socialists.
For certain.
Like they know that for a fact that we have never been socialists, except those like 10 times that we were. It's like whatever. These people. The thing is that you know, for years the U.S. unlike Germany, the education system here has been just terrible for a very long time. And
What scares me is like that you guys actually like our constitution is from 1949, and guess who wrote that constitution?
did we?
Yeah, at least in part.
Yeah,
And the same with
but
Italy. Like Italy, I think as a woman you're guaranteed the same amount of money as a man. You wrote that in there. You put that in there. Like your guys put that in there.
well, that amendment has been sitting. It just was ratified just
Mhm.
recently, but for some reason, it took. I think that was in the 80s. Was it in the 70s or 80s? I don't remember. But that it just is. It's now just been finished. Finally, the last state voted on it, but it took decades to do that. Decades.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we had that in 1949. No
Yeah.
offense.
Yeah, dude. Well, I mean, like, but you're seeing it in real time right now. I mean, look how
Yeah,
broken
it's bad.
our bicameral system is with the two parties. They can't work together. They just
Right.
can't. Um,
And I am all for, working your ass off and being productive and all that stuff, but you have to take care of your weak, man. You gotta. And the thing is like, you know, everybody always bitches about the freeloaders in America, and I'm like, well, apparently you don't have a social system, so what do they freeload on? How does that work? Because I have friends that live in Florida. I have a friend who can barely walk. She's like my age, and she has some kind
yeah,
of nerve disease that only happens to 1 in 25,000 people. So it's not really worth doing research on it.
right.
So there's no, she's not going to be healed. They can like measure, they can like deal with her pain and stuff. But she's actually a phone sex operator because that's the only job she can do laying down, literally.
Really?
Yes, she doesn't want to be a phone sex operator, but that's what she can do. You know,
Wow.
because yeah, she cannot even sit most of the time. She can sit for like half an hour, but not like all day. Like in an office, she couldn't do that.
I think
So,
most
and that
people.
that girl is not she does not meet requirements for Obamacare, number one, and she doesn't meet requirements for any kind of like social help because she could work, which she does, but like out of her bed doing getting guys off basically, which is terrible.
She's not disabled enough. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the so-called freeloaders. Well, okay, so everybody here, first of all, first thing anyone needs to know is the redder the state is, the more government assistance they get. So in a way,
Right.
like
Yeah. Like
people
I know West
people
Virginia is the number one welfare state, and that's like the
yeah,
number one Trump state too.
dude, the redder the state, the more assistance they use. So who they're really talking about when they say all these freeloaders is they're talking about themselves.
Yeah.
They're talking about themselves because the blue states pay for these programs and the red states use them. So it's not that there's not a ton of people in California or New York on these programs. There absolutely is. But if you go on percentages, go to those
Yeah. It
red
doesn't
states and
compare. Yeah.
see. Yeah, like how
Well,
many
there's
of,
there's another problem is that like if you go to the Rust Belt, the West Virginia, Pennsylvania, whatever, there's a lot of people there on welfare because their industry has disappeared
right.
for many different factors. But like pretending to be the master of coal or steel like Trump does now, and I mean he hasn't actually done anything about it as far as I know. I mean the
They,
economy isn't going to improve because it's old technology. That's 19th century technology. It's not going to come back. Why?
right.
Why would it?
Yeah.
And second, I mean, there it may have improved a little bit because just the economy until now has obviously has improved, which is also not due to Trump. I mean, it's already improving under Obama drastically. It's just due
Right.
to world economy. Um,
Right.
but yeah, this isn't gonna help to like pretend that you have to keep bringing back these old industries. You need to move on
No.
from that.
No, and like a lot of people too on that, like on that point that you just made, a lot of people will talk about like Eastern Kentucky, West Virginia, and they'll say, they'll act like these people are really dumb. But the truth is like, because I working in music, I spent a lot of time in those areas, and those people, they're not stupid. They don't believe Trump's going to bring back coal because they know that their jobs weren't stolen by environmental rules. They know that their jobs were not taken by immigrants. They were replaced by machines and a declining market.
Right.
Like the people there, they're not stupid. They know exactly why they were laid off. You know what I mean? So when he goes and does that, it's like a publicity stunt. But I don't think any of those fucking people actually believe that he's going to bring back King Coal. You know what I mean?
Well, they are
Like,
voting for him, so I don't know. He
they're
still has a
voting
high
for.
number of support for, especially in those areas.
Oh, absolutely. That's because the Democrats abandoned all the unions. I mean, they cause their own problem. They do it every time, man. It's like, they abandoned the Rust Belt and it backfired. Like, I understand, like, there's poor people everywhere, especially in these declining states, and they're struggling. And to just acknowledge a certain number of people, like more like urban areas, and not acknowledge that the rural poor, and to not acknowledge that their industries are gone and that they need to be, re-educated into a new workforce or given opportunities, economic opportunities, and to just ignore them. Obviously that was a bad policy from the DNC, and it cost them an election. Well, not really. We won the election, God damn it.
Right.
But but apparently,
your system has cost you the election, or has cost the DNC the election.
yeah, I mean, technically Hillary Clinton was elected the first female president of the United States,
right.
But our system's archaic.
And she won by over 3 million votes, I believe. So it's not like
3 million.
I remember reading all these Trump supporters saying it's a landslide victory, and I'm like, no, Hillary actually had a landslide victory over that guy. It's just you have a shitty system.
She crushed him. She crushed him. But the problem is she didn't crush him in the right places.
Right.
That's what it is. It's like if I vote in the kitchen and you vote in the living room, because I'm in the kitchen, my vote is worth 1.5 of what yours is worth in the kitchen.
Yeah, and if what is also confusing to me is that, for example, a state like Wyoming, nothing against Wyoming, but it only has a population of comparable to, I don't know, Bakersfield, right? California.
Right.
So, and they have 2 senators, just like California has 2 senators. And they have less congressmen, but they got 2 senators.
Right. And if you calculate the electoral votes, I think it's like, geez, I want to say it's
5.
Like, yeah,
it's 5.
But if you compare it to the population of California, which is the most populous state, I think our votes are like a fourth of what theirs are worth.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't make it. But you know what? That lends right into this. The U.S. Census this year, like with all the issues, people need to remember to fill out the U.S. Census, because this is really, really important for getting your representatives, for getting funding, for all kinds of things. It's like, this is the worst possible time for the coronavirus, because we have an election and a census going on this year. We only do the census once every 10 years, and all resources and congressional districts are based on that.
Right.
So
yeah, census is a funny thing to me. That we haven't had a census in decades, because here you have to register where you live, which again that wouldn't fly in America because it's like freedom and all that shit.
Right.
But here you register with the city, so you also don't have to register to vote, because they know where you live, so they send you the fucking voter registration to your house, and you can vote or not. It's your call, but you're already registered. So when I moved from Ansbach to here to Rothenburg, like I had to re-register in Rothenburg, and I got the election papers a couple of weeks ago. So they know everything.
Man, I mean, honestly, I've had this discussion with quite a few friends, but man, if Trump wins this next election, I really hope countries like Germany and Canada and Norway and all these other countries that are more together allow us to become political refugees, because I just can't imagine staying here.
No. No, I don't think so.
It's
no offense,
like,
bro. Well, you can come here. You can stay at my place. I don't care.
It's just like, man, I mean, that would be so nice, because It's
To be
just,
honest with you, I missed you. I missed the United States. I miss all that, all that madness and all that craziness. And I miss your giant 7-Eleven drinks. It's fucking awesome. Like you don't
oh
have that here.
yes,
Like
the
the
7-Elevens.
big one here is the small one in the States. I mean, that is so not cool.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Well, you know what? If you ever want just me to send you a bunch of like slushy cups, just let me know.
Mm.
I'll just mail you the cups.
You know what? I did actually collect a bunch of Wendy's cups when I was in Florida last time, but they're really hard to transport because they take a lot of space. Like you can put like a couple of socks in them and stuff and move them across the border that way, but it's not like they're very hard to bring along.
You got them
Plus, what
though,
are you gonna do
see?
without you have no lids? You got to steal a bunch of lids from Wendy's. I mean, how many lids can you take, right?
You can, I bet you can order those online.
That's a good point. I gotta try that.
Yeah, you just got to know the size. I know it's tricky because I mean, if you're off by even a fraction of a millimeter, that shit will not seal and you'll spill it
That's
all
right.
over
Yeah.
yourself. You know what?
Then it just becomes
Maybe,
a hassle.
what if I could find you a giant sippy cup? Like a
Okay.
reusable, huge sippy. I mean, with the straw, I'm not going to make you drink out of one of those little
No,
kid
don't.
ones.
One of those little kid ones.
You
No, I
know,
mean
the
I can
little,
get a straw out of metal or something. I don't care about that, but it's important to have the lid and a good
yeah,
cup that I can actually wash. Like your
yeah.
mom used to have these Pizza Factory cups that you had since like 1999 and they still look like new.
Still have
What are they
them.
made out of? What the fuck are they made out of, man? That must be like titanium or something.
Titanium.
Titanium cups.
Holy hell.
All right,
But,
so hopefully we got to wrap this up pretty soon. We're running out of time, but hopefully we can talk about something else besides the coronavirus next week or
oh,
next
dude,
time.
man, honest, I hope so too. But I mean, for the U.S., this is just ramping
I
up.
know.
Do they just before we go, do they have an estimate on when Germany is expecting to plateau?
We're dropping right now, so within the next 2 or 3 days, they'll know for sure tomorrow if it's working.
Awesome.
Um, Today we had less cases than yesterday, less new cases. It's still a lot. It still jumps by like 4,000 or something, but it's flattening down now. But if you go outside here, there's nobody, man. I went to the store today. I was there with a bunch of old people for some reason. I mean, they're really, I mean, maybe that Texas guy is right, and maybe they just want to die or something. I don't know what the deal is, but there was a bunch of old people at the store
Yeah.
with me there. That was it. I was the only one wearing gloves.
Oh
I don't know. It's
God.
amazing to me. But Angela Merkel is in. She self-isolated herself because she was in touch with a physician that is now infected with corona.
Right, right. Yeah, I heard she was in. So what is she doing everything by like TV or like video?
What we're doing right now, probably. So she's at home. She's in quarantine, self-quarantine.
Okay.
I mean, you don't really need to go outside. I mean, this is actually a really good time for this to happen in history. I mean, 20, 30 years ago, this would have been a lot more problematic, but nowadays you can work from home, you can order shit from Amazon, whatever.
Right.
So, I think we're better prepared for this than ever, except while your healthcare system isn't, but that's all right. I
Hey,
hope
you
that
know
you learn
what?
from it. I hope that your government will learn from this. Your people will learn from this. I don't think that they will because
No.
it's difficult over there, but maybe I'm wrong. You never know.
No, we should talk about the generation gaps next time. I'll tell you all about the Gen Z response to this. It's been laughable. There's a lot of memes going around right now, and a lot of them are really excellent. So
Yeah, I
if you're
saw
out
there's a
there,
ton of them.
if you're out there making memes, God bless you.
This is your time.
This is your time, and you're doing a great job. And we love you for it.
Okay, cool. All right, let's end it at that. Well, thanks so much, everyone, for joining us. Hopefully, get more than 18 views this time.
Hey, I haven't even put these up yet because of Instagram's rules. I'm gonna put the link in my bio.
No worries, man.
Yeah.
It's all good. No stress. We're just doing this for fun. Hopefully, we influence somebody, but let's keep it up.
Yeah.
So I'll be in touch about the next episode. Thanks, everyone, and you have a good night, sir.
Good night, man.